welcome back to the Realistic Cattle Ranch Challenge on Sunshine Forest. I'm BP. It's time to get to work. So a couple of big changes right off the bat, guys. Number one, we are on a brand new field. I'll explain that in just a second. And number two, we have double case planters. So the planters, we had our initial one, and then one came up in the sale for like $2,900 or $2,700. And I just thought, if we're going to be doing a new field and having more to plant, we probably should increase our working width, and here we are, and planting away with our new double case seeder setup. So the new field, I was all set after last episode to return the Iceria Scout that we leased to get the field data from the wheat field expansion. And I thought to myself, we've already paid the $800 for the Scout lease. Before I send it back, is there anything we might want to do, in the next couple of months that would, be involving a new field, I guess? And I thought to myself, well, we have chickens coming in, and we're going through a lot of wheat. We need more straw. We're going to need a new field eventually. Why not just cut a new field in while we have the Iceria Scout on the farm, and then we can get all the farm data about as cheap as we're going to be able to get it, and just put more wheat in the ground. We're planting wheat anyways. We had the double planter set up at that stage, so I thought, why not just jump right in and put a new field in? So as you saw in the intro, we mowed everything. We ended up doing hay bales, square hay bales off of this area before we plowed it up. We got 27 hay bales, so that was really helpful going into our winter feeding period. We have just a barn full of hay, which is really good because we're going to get more and more cows. And then we plowed it, and I limed it. I did not put any slurry down on this field. I finished up the slurry on all of the other fields after the last episode, and the slurry is just not working with precision farming. I'm not sure if that is because I don't have the Iceria Compact on the tractor or the Pro. I'm not sure if I need one of those homogenized John Deere monitors on the slurry tank, which obviously we can't just add on. I'd have to buy a whole new slurry tank. Or if it's something with the soil map here or what, but I keep putting more and more slurry down, and we're getting 20 out of 160 or 180 kilograms of nitrogen per hectare. So we're getting small percentages of what we actually need. So I thought to myself, with the new case seeder setup we're running here, what would it be like, what would it cost to throw a bag or two of fertilizer in and just see if that will get the nitrogen closer to where it needs to be? Because we can always use the slurry on the grass fields where it seems to be doing a plenty fine job. It's just the crop fields, the wheat fields, that we seem to be having a problem with. So I threw some fertilizer into both of these case planters, and prior to jumping onto this field, I did complete the planting of the other wheat field, which we'll take a look at in a second over here. When we turn around, we'll sneak a peek, and it seems to be working with precision farming. I'm not sure why this setup is working better than what we had in the past, but it is working. So for the cost of a bag or two or a pallet or two of fertilizer, we are just massively increasing our yield. So I'm going to pause here real quick. You can see our other wheat field over there is all planted and good. If you look down here on the limed part, we have 6.5 out of 6.5 on the pH, which is the lime. So that's going down just fine with our lime spreader. Currently, we have 0 kilograms per hectare of nitrogen. So if I come back here and I look behind the case, the nitrogen is 180 out of 180. Expected yield is 97%. I think it's as good as we're going to get without taking the rocks out and doing some rolling and some mulching. So this setup is working. I'm excited that we're getting better results out of our fields by using some fertilizer. I'd prefer to stick with the slurry, obviously, because it's free and we have it on the farm. But until I can figure out how to get it to apply adequately without having to do 5, 6, 7, 8 applications for our crop fields, I just don't think it's worth it at this stage. So that is the update heading into this episode. We have a couple other small items. I did go ahead and do all of the cattle work this morning for September, so all the animals have been moved. We had 2 calves. We had a couple of calves that grew into adolescence that we moved over. A couple more pregnant female, a couple females that were ready to go back into the breeding pen. Everyone got fed. Everyone got sorted out, and we are good to go. So all that cattle work has been done for the month of September. I did make the decision in looking at the animals. I think we had maybe 7, maybe even 8 roosters in our chicken coop. And we're really only doing the chickens for, I mean, there's 2 reasons. One, we don't have any productions for the wheat, so we're not doing flour or bread per the realistic livestock or cattle ranch challenge rules. And so we have the chickens because the wheat isn't really worth selling, and we're hoping to get some eggs. The roosters are just going to eat a bunch of food. They're not ever really going to be worth very much, and they don't produce any eggs at all. So I decided to sell the roosters, and that's probably what we'll end up doing with the majority of the roosters when they're born, is just turn around and sell them right away, because I don't think there's any reason in keeping them to feed them and eating through our stock of food that's there for the hens that are going to be our egg layers. I'm hopeful that in the next year we're going to have a lot of chickens, and we'll have a lot of eggs, which will help fund some improvements on the farm. The other thing for today, the case planters there, or the case seeders, did a great job. Get those parked over here with 2 of them. They have to be parked on this side of the field because they don't fit through the farmyard anymore. They're too wide, so I have to park them in a new spot. But the other item for today is we have potentially some cheese to sell. Let's pop out and take a look in the time-saving stock check menu. Cheese is at its best price in October, and which for Farm Sim typically means that the price will peak in very late September. It's not always the case, but typically the case. Best price is $19.62. It's currently $19.37 at Goldcrest Valley. So we're going to be watching that the rest of the day to see what happens there. And if it does peak, we will end up, I'm going to go ahead. I'm not sure why the interactive markers are back on, but we will get them turned off here real quick. I'm not real sure why those ended up, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought there. I'm not sure why the interactive markers are on. Got those turned off. But we have to watch the cheese and see what happens. So if the cheese is the best-selling price ends up being in September, we'll run it up there and get it sold. If not, we'll do that in October. The last piece of news, which is actually very, very exciting, guys, is I did a head count this morning, and we have 102 cattle on the ranch. And that's really important for a couple reasons. One, it's a big mile marker in getting us to our 300 cattle goal for the ranch. I think in the near future, we're going to have to sell off some animals just to keep our cost and feeding costs down. But we did reach 100, which is a third of the way to our 300 cattle goal for the challenge. The second item is, if you guys remember the rules, everything had to be done manually before we got to 100 cattle. And so now I get a little bit of a break and don't have to do everything manually. To be completely honest, it's been a really enjoyable process. And I'll probably continue doing some of the work manually, the feeding, you know, the moving the cows, that kind of stuff. but some of the really highly repetitive and time-consuming tasks, specifically the collecting of the bales, is something I'm looking forward to using, something with a little bit more efficiency to it, we'll call it. So we're looking at a couple of things as far as bale trailers, because we can start to use auto load and get some improvements. I did find 2 really cool items off the mod hub today. These are hand carts and hand tanks, which I'm going to use to feed the calves in the igloos, because we don't need the big equipment. So you get into these just like a regular vehicle, you enter them, and then you can walk with them, and they go around, and you can put a bale on here, and the bale will feed the animals. The water tank can be used to water the animals. The walking animation is a little bit off, but in general, very, very cool. I'm going to use these tomorrow when we go to feed the animals. So at this stage, we have both of our wheat fields planted. We are about done for the month of September. I'm going to watch the prices of the cheese, or the price of the cheese, and see if we're selling that by the end of the day today, or if we're going into tomorrow. But real quick, I thought it was worth jumping into flight mode. Oh, I changed. I forgot we have easy dev controls came out today, so I put those in. So let's see. Super strength flight mode on. Let's hope it's the same controls. It is not the same controls as it was before easy dev. So let's see. Controls. Jump in here. Where are the easy dev controls? Should be right in here. Delete toggle, super strength. Yeah, so there's no obvious controls for flight mode. So we'll have to try that. I'll have to figure that out between episodes. I wanted to sort of fly around and give you guys a quick look at the farm, because we've made so much progress. We can take a quick look at the map. You can see our new wheat field is going to be big. We've doubled. I mean, we added the addition to the original wheat field, which almost doubled the size, and then we added another wheat field that doubled the total amount of wheat. So we've got almost 4 times as much wheat coming in as we did previously. So let's see, maybe I can get up high enough this way. You get a little bit of perspective. This isn't quite flight mode, but you can see our new field over here, the farm sprawling out over that way into our grass field. We have our dairy, we have our chicken coop, our greenhouses, our calf igloos, our birthing pen. That first stall of the barn over there is really, really full of hay and silage. And then we have our original wheat field back here. So we have just a ton of stuff going on. Lots of good growth on the ranch. Excited for where we are. I'm going to check in with you guys either later on today when it's time to sell the cheese, or I'll check in with you guys tomorrow morning in October if the price doesn't peak. Either way, I'll see you in a second. We are pulling into the shop, ready to sell our cheese. If you guys haven't noticed, we did get a new trailer. 2 of them came up in the sale today. This nice Brandt tri-axle flat deck has a really wide deck over frame and 2 big ramps at the back. That replaced our little black trailer we'd used up in the back. And this Dangerville trailer up here came up for sale for $900 as a bale trailer for us to use. Now that we can use auto load and don't have to do all of our bales manually. So let's get our cheese sold. I did try to use the train. The price is best at the train, but after numerous attempts of trying to rent it and get it here and it wasn't showing up, I just gave up. It is $19.79 at Goldcrest using the train, so $27,985 total. But we're at $19.50 at the storage base, so we're only looking at about $400 less, or $300 less, I'm sorry. So not a big deal either way. So let's get the straps off of here, and let's see if we can get this in the corner enough to get it all sold. All right, so 22, 23, 4, 27, 28, 300 plus 2,000. So yeah, we made just about 30 grand on that. Not bad at all. So let's go ahead. It's the middle of the night. We're doing some late night projects here. Let's see, is this going to be long enough for the wheelbase? I think it is. So let's leave that there. We'll jump out and grab the telehandler here. I did upgrade the pallet forks. I found a mod that is pallet forks with tension belts, which I figured would be just about perfect for what we need up here at the shop. You can use it to get pallets and stuff off of trailers for sale. We also can use it to load stuff onto our flat decks. So my thought is if I do that and then I snap the tension belts, I should be able to just lift the whole thing. Yep, that's working exactly like I was hoping. Let's see. Are all of the wheels going to be on? I'm thinking a little too far back. Let's lift and flatten just a little bit. Come on down. Undo the tension belts. And look at that, guys. We are loaded up. That was what I was hoping was going to happen with that. Did get a comment in an earlier video about leaving the forks up. So now they're nice and low for anyone who's concerned about the forks being left up at the shop. So let's jump into the International. I'm going to go back and get this stuff parked up at the ranch, and I will see you guys in the morning for a quick check-in and maybe some cattle feeding with our new hand tools. See you guys shortly. Welcome to October, guys. We are here. I got the Scout back, even left the lights on last night. Must have been tired. Let's get those lights turned off. Got the Scout back with both the trailers. Get those unloaded a little bit later. This morning, I just want to run through and do some feeding of the cattle with our new hand carts. So let's go ahead and get our water tender out of the way. And let's start with the water tank. I'm excited to see how this is going to work. So, heading out and over to get filled up. I think this thing holds 500 gallons. So let's see. Not driving too straight. Let's see how this goes. Yep, 500 gallons. Okay, so we can dump it here. Might be worth actually just dumping it right here for both of these front two igloos and then topping it off before we take it to the back. Oh, that one was empty. How about this one? Is this one, are we still feeling? Okay, so it's pretty close to full. Not too bad. Alright. Run this guy around here. Okay, they're topped off. This is working really well. Oh, that one's empty. Seems like some of these are drinking a lot more than others. There we go. Okay, let's get this guy. We don't want to fill the greenhouses with this one. That'll be way too much water. Let's see. All right, I'm not sure if that didn't also go into the greenhouse, but we have 2 more left to go with the water tank. Walking backwards isn't too bad with the water tank here. Let's top her off. Run down and check that last one. Let's see, did this one fill up? Yep, that one's full. That one was almost full. And then here we go with... Right, so that one needs 1 more. So they took a decent amount of water. These guys were thirsty. I can't tell if we're pulling into the greenhouses, though. Got to make sure we stay away from those when we have the little tank. I can probably even, fill it on the fly. Don't have to stop running. Not a bad way to move 500 liters of water. And after this, we'll go grab the bale cart. Fill that up. Yeah, I think we're actually full. We probably did get a little bit into the... Yeah, I think we're getting the greenhouses there. So let's park this right here. Out of the way. And then our bale cart is right over here. I'm not sure if it's going to work to load onto this. Let's see. Okay, it does. Cool. Okay, so we have our bale on here. Imagine we have to unstrap it. Okay. Well, that was it for that bale. Well, let's take our cart back over and get another one. Should be right over in here. Not a bad looking little hand cart. So we jump over here, grab a bale. We just want one. We don't need 27 or however many there are. Okay, we got one here. Great. Come up over here. Let's see about getting it loaded. Okay. That's on. The backing doesn't work quite as well with the cart as it does with the barrel, but not bad. Yeah, I mean, that's a nice looking setup. That's not too shabby at all. Okay, steering is a little bit tight, but we'll get it. Okay, so release the tension belt, fill it up, pop the tension belt back on. Same thing here. Yeah, this is nice. This is probably faster than the Massey Ferguson, the skid steer, because we don't have to keep putting the bales down and coming back to check on them. We can just belt and unbelt. I may have to stop. Let's see. Nope, that was a drive-by feeding, guys. We're getting good at this. Okay, I think that's it. That's how we're going to take care of these Igloos from now on. That was really nice and easy. So, cool. All right, well, I think we're going to call it there for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Don't forget to drop a like and turn on notifications for more videos. And we'll see you in the next one.